first of all, I'm just gonna go over what a synth plugin is, or what a synthesizer is, and it's pretty simple. Basically, what a synthesizer does is it's an instrument, and it has different waveforms. This right here is the waveform, and this is called a sawtooth wave, and that's just the name of the shape, and each shape creates a different sound out of the instrument, out of the oscillator, because all of these are called oscillators. Anything that generates the sound is called an oscillator. The thing is, a lot of synth plugins do a lot of the same things. So for a long time, I used to collect all kinds of plugins and all kinds of stuff, and usually we do that because we like the sounds that are within the plugin, or we like the presets that we hear, and we're just enticed by the presets, and we just want to buy the plugin for the presets, and that's not the right mindset. Now, the first reason why I think personally that Serum is a better choice is because the sound quality is high quality. It's a high quality synthesizer. Now, this also means more CPU, but again, we don't typically use a lot of synthesizers in a single song. Typically, you have a main instrument, maybe a lead, a bass sound, some little things in between, some instruments, and you're good. So really, CPU isn't that big of a it's not that big of a downside, because you are getting a more high quality sound. Now, how I'm going to demonstrate it is using a spectrum analyzer, which will show the wave. Now, an alternative to Serum that a lot of people get is Massive. Some people go to Serum, some people go to Massive. Now, as you can tell, this is a saw wave, like I said before, sawtooth, and we're gonna see the waves being generated in the spectrum analyzer real quick. So when we look at Massive and we play it, so we see the waves clean, you know, there's not too much in between, but down here you can see these little this noise down here. That's, you don't really want that. It's not part of the saw wave. It's just it's a product of aliasing, which is something they do to kind of predict stuff in between. I don't even know exactly how it works, but the aliasing is just some way to just use less CPU and still come out with a saw wave, I guess, in a way. Now, Serum, what Serum looks like is this. Now, I think I have it very loud right now, so I'm going to turn it down. But I can literally hear that it's more full and cleaner. But visually, too, we can see that these are single lines. There's no noise in between the lines. Let me go back to Massive real quick to demonstrate. There's a lot of noise there. You don't want that. That just makes the sound a little bit more muddy. But that's the first reason, is that it's higher quality. Now, again, it's going to take more CPU, but most people can handle one instance of Serum. If your computer can't handle one instance of Serum, then you shouldn't be buying plugins. You should be investing in a better computer. All right, so anyways, that's the first reason. I'm going to go on to the next reason real quick. The second reason why I think that Serum is a better synthesizer to purchase is because it is always getting updated, and not only that, but it has free updates for a whole lifetime. There's only one developer right now, and his name is Steve Duda, and he's done over 90 updates since 2014. If you have a cracked version, you actually may have more CPU problems than in newer versions, because he does do improvements in terms of performance. But not only that, but he actually adds features. Things like Sylenth 1 and Massive have not been updated in literally years, like since before Serum came out. So this thing is young, it's new, it's fresh, but you can expect a lot of stuff. Like recently he added he added 8 LFOs instead of 4. So if I bring in LFO 4, a 5th one's going to come out. And if I keep adding them, more and more are going to come up until I reach 8. Now, the reason why it works like that is because, again, he's optimizing it for performance, and he's making it more visually appealing. He has a good sense of what is good for his product. If you buy Serum, you have a key that you can use on that's on his website on xforrecords.com, which is the name of his company. And you can use that key. You can download Serum on as many computers as you want that you own and use it wherever you want. The third reason why I think that Serum is a better investment, especially if you're looking into your first synth plugin, is that you are able to create your own custom waves and also your own custom wave tables. A wave is basically a single sound. This is one wave right here, and if I play it, it's called a saw wave. It's gonna make that sound specifically. I can go ahead and actually get other types of waves. If I go to the basic shapes, there's other ones. There's a sine wave, and a table is actually a collection of waves. So if I click on this is a table, and I can scroll through the table and morph the sound. But if I go through the table, this is another saw wave. It's basically just a diagonal line. It's gonna have a saw wave sound. There's triangle, square, there's a bunch of waves. But in Serum, you can actually modify these and create your own waves. You can morph and create a spectral morph, which is actually going to create a table that is it's going to spread it out. So a table is kind of like when you have a cartoon and you're flipping through the pages, and it's going to change the sound. So if I scroll through this, it's going to morph the sound. Let me go ahead and show you guys. It's going to morph through all the different waves right there, as you can tell. So Massive also has that WaveTable and wave feature, except in Massive you have a set number of waves and wave tables. So this is all you get in Massive. There's a lot of choice, and a lot of people may like the Massive wavetables. Another reason why Serum is better is because you can literally import the Massive wavetables into Serum and actually have all of Massive sounds, all of Massive's basic sounds within Serum. So anything that can be made in Massive can be made in Serum and more. Anything that can be made in Sylenth can also be made in Serum. Anything that can be made, that is made using waves in a synthesizer and wavetables, can be made in Serum. People think that different synths sound different or come with different sounds, but when you look at it, they're all fundamentally the same. And like I showed before, Serum actually has higher quality than Massive and a lot of other ones. The fourth reason why Serum is personally a better choice, I think, that's my opinion, is because it is a sampler too. So with instruments, there's synthesizers like Massive, Sylenth, Spire, all those, and there is samplers. Contact is a sampler. It plays back sounds that have already been recorded. So right here you see this noise tab right here. One of the new features is that you can literally drag any sound into there. So if I drag this, I can drag it from the Ableton sidebar, or I can drag it from the Finder or whatever, and I can play it at different pitches. I can actually tune this sound and make it have harmony, I guess. If I can add a reverb and stuff. So very cool. It sounds pretty high quality too. It's not like the Ableton sampler. I feel like Ableton has, I may be wrong, but it sounds pretty good. It's a sampler, and not only that, you can actually pile it onto the waves. If I tune this, obviously it's going to sound better because this sound is just random right now. But you can actually scroll through your folder from Serum, which is cool. Now Massive does not have this feature. Sylenth does not have this feature. Spire does not have this feature. This whole thing is just a monster of a instrument. It combines synthesis and samplers, which is actually very rare. Omnisphere does that, but Omnisphere is not something that you just casually throw onto every track. Serum is that middle ground between omnisphere and a regular synth. But that is the fourth reason, is that it's a sampler. Again, you have noise also part of the whole mix. That's very rare in a synth. So the fifth and final reason is that Serum is an envelope monster. It has so many envelope capabilities. You can make your own envelopes. You can make your own step sequences. And what that means is that if you get something like an LFO right here, which can also be put into envelope mode. An LFO is basically an envelope that loops over and over. And an envelope is not a sound, but it is a setting that will control a parameter. So if I get a saw wave right here, and right now I actually have some envelopes enabled right here. As you can see, I have envelope 2, and the destination is to the master tuning. So from envelope 2, it's going to go to the master tuning of this whole sound, and the amount is 100%. Now if I'm on envelope 2, I can see that it's slowly rising. So if we look at this, we can see that the sound, this is very loud, I apologize. We can see that as it goes up, the tuning is going to go all the way up, and it's visual, which is obviously another reason is that this is a good choice, is that everything is visual. So learning on Serum is much more, it's more visual, more intuitive than Massive or Sylenth especially. That's just an example of one thing that you can do with an envelope. If I get this envelope and I apply it to, okay, let's go ahead and listen to this sound. If I get a filter just cuts out frequencies. I can actually get an envelope to control the cutoff. I can drag the envelope to the cutoff, and now when this thing moves, it's gonna go through that blue line right there. And I control the length as well. The speed. I can make it go in the other direction by dragging this. And like I said before, LFOs are just a version of an envelope that repeats and it loops. Why it's also a envelope monster is because you can actually turn an LFO into a envelope. It's going to go through this once and then stop if you want to. Or what you can do is, I'm hitting shift right now. When you hit shift, you can create steps. You can actually double click and create your own custom waves. You can bend them. You can change the speed of the envelope, of the LFO. And this is crazy because you can control so much. Envelopes and modulation is a huge part of a synth plugin. And this quite literally allows you to make all kinds of, so I just changed the mode to ramp up. Now it's going to make a ramps. It allows you to create all kinds of sequences and use it as an envelope, or you can use it as a LFO, which is going to keep repeating. And again, you have 8 of them. I think that's the most LFOs I've seen in a synth plugin. So definitely, that's a great reason why I think Serum is the best choice, is that it has so much customization available and so much possibilities compared to other things. Now if I go to Massive, there's also envelopes right here. There's 4 envelopes and there's 4 LFOs. There's 2 LFOs in one performance mode and a step sequencer. So in Serum, the step sequencer, the LFO can literally be used like a step sequencer or a performance sequencer right here, or an LFO. And in Massive, you can't customize the LFOs. You only have these 4 shapes. In Serum, you can make as many changes to the LFO as you want. So it's just a better synth in so many ways, and there's a lot of confusion with people. They think that one synth has different sounds than another, so they just saw the demonstration for massive and they have to get massive just because the sound sounded better in there. Those are just presets. So it's better to invest in just Serum and buy presets for Serum rather than clutter your whole setup, your whole digital workstation, everything with all kinds of plugins for no reason, waste tons of money. Invest in Serum and maybe one other that's not so much of a CPU hog, that you can just create little shapes, just the basic shapes with. Some people like to just get massive in Serum. Spire is a different plugin. I just have it here just to demonstrate. It's basically same thing. It has waves and it just has a different layout. And again, it's not as visual. It doesn't have custom envelopes. Are very rigid. You can't change them as much as you can in Serum. The LFOs, same thing, they're rigid. So Serum is honestly the best choice, especially if you're buying your first synth. So definitely check it out. This video wasn't sponsored or anything. I'm trying to guide people a little bit because it's just a common question, and I see a lot of people making the mistake of investing into massive. It's not a mistake, but definitely not a mistake, but it's just for me, my personal opinion is that Serum is a really good idea, especially if you're interested in learning it more quickly, how to synthesize things. And it's going to provide so many types of synthesis, so many presets. Everything that can be made in massive can be made in Serum. It's just obviously a better choice. So go ahead and leave your opinions down below if you like this or learned something, or if this helped you. Go ahead and comment and let me know what your opinion is. My point was that it's cheaper in the long run because you don't have to pay for, you're basically, with other things, you're if you stop paying for the updates, then the plugin is no longer being maintained anymore. So with Serum, it's always going to be free updates. The sound is cleaner. You can make your own waves. You can make your own wavetables, which allows you to go through the waves. It's a sampler, so you can place sounds literally into your plugin and play with the waves that you make. You can there's 8 LFOs that can be used as step sequencers, envelopes, and that's a very important part of sound design, is to have some kind of modulation, because you're just going to end up with basic waves. You need to modulate stuff to create an interesting effect, especially if you're doing trap or hip hop or beats. Overall, it's a crazy synthesizer. I can't even go. I wanted this video to be 10 minutes long. I don't think it's even possible to go over it in 10 minutes. Hopefully you learned a lot, and hopefully I wasn't too all over the place. But it's very hard to stay focused. There's like so much stuff. And definitely invest in Serum if you're thinking about buying a plugin, or if you're even cracking a bunch of plugins. It's a good idea to buy it, because then you don't have to worry about having CPU issues all the time with the older versions. And if you buy it, you have unlimited lifetime free updates. You don't have to worry. It's just a crazy synthesizer. Definitely check it out, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.